This is Necro Nuchex Mortis from Necro Obscura Horror Media. Hi there. I haven't posted anything in a long time. I hope this actually works out and I don't have to keep recording this over and over and over again like I do all the stories that I read because I suck at reading shit. But I'm just gonna ramble. And I think what I'm thinking about right now is things that creep me out. What creeps you out? Things that creep me out that I like listen to a lot of stories and stuff about. Like one thing I'll say is for one probably like time loops. I know like that probably doesn't sound scary in the way that it can be presented, I guess, a lot of the time. I don't know. To me, when I think of like time loops and stuff, I think of like really jacked up stories I've listened to where people are stuck in a time loop, and I don't know, that kind of scares me. It freaks me out that like, what if you're in a time loop and you don't know it? Like you wouldn't know, would you? You know, like you're doing the same thing all the time. But it's new to you because you don't realize you're in the shit. That weirds me out a little bit. Stuff in like in horror movies, the one thing that always freaks me out in a lot of horror movies is that when somebody either is made to think that they're going crazy, or that they really are going crazy and they don't realize it. That freaks me out too. Things like that. I feel like I have a problem with not knowing what's going on. It's like the time loop thing. Yeah, you're not gonna know. You're just gonna be stuck in this thing. But I guess it wouldn't be scary if you didn't know. But it's a scary idea to think that you're stuck. You know, and you'll never know it. Like now, maybe I'm stuck in a fucking time loop right now, and I don't know. I doubt it. But things like that, or just not knowing what's happening. Like like if I'm that freaks me out in movies when somebody, like, there's a story. This is okay. This makes me. I'll try to give a little quick kind of thing of the story. There's this one story in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and I think it's called Maybe You Will Remember. And basically, this mother and daughter go to a hotel. The mother's kind of fallen ill. They don't know what's wrong with her. They have doctors to come in and check on her and stuff. So the one doctor sends the daughter, out to his home in a taxi to go get some medicine that he needs for her mother, so to help her get better. So the girl goes, and she's riding in the taxi, and the taxi just keeps going. She's like pretty sure like she's gone in circles like how many times, and it looks like the same area like they're passing, like she's like like he's like just driving her around in circles. And eventually she gets out of the taxi, and I think she manages to get back to the hotel, but it's the same hotel, but she asked for the room that her mother and her were booked into, and they keep telling her there's no one in that room, it's vacant. She was like, we checked in earlier, like you checked us in, what are you talking about? And they're like, maybe you'll remember if you just relax and blah 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 and all this stuff, like that no one's ever checked into that room, it's been vacant all day and horse shit like that. It's like everyone like acts like she's crazy, but it turns out something actually screwy happened behind the scenes of it. But if you've never read the story, I'm not going to spoil that for you, but stuff like that, I don't like the idea of either people, running you around and making you think that you're losing your fucking mind. Gaslighting, I think, is the word for it. I don't like that. That freaks me the fuck out. Like why? Like, ugh. Like that kind of thing, like definitely like makes me uncomfortable. That I like worry things like that, or like I said, like that you actually might be losing your fucking marbles. That always freaks me out in horror movies. Trying to think of other things that really weird me out. I've always had a problem with faces. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, but allow me to explain. I feel like ever since I was a kid, I've always had an issue with like abnormal faces, like not disfigurements, not not anyone like having like some kind of medical condition. Like I'm talking about like I have had a problem with faces, like freaky faces. Like I had dreams about the shit. I always like to think that the most terrifying shit comes from your brain. Like you can watch horror movies all day. You can see like the scariest monsters and creatures and stuff that they can make up, and everything in horror movies, like all the spooky stuff. But like I feel like the real scary shit is stuff that's in your brain, the stuff that only your mind can make up. But maybe it doesn't scare other people. Maybe it's just your own fears, like mine or whatever. But the thing like with faces, I remember having like I always remembered having dreams when I was a kid, or I guess nightmares. Really, I always remember having nightmares of really like long, like elongated faces, like large features and big fucked up eyes and stuff like that. It just like always scared me. Like I always had this issue with windows that I was always afraid that I'm gonna like look at a dark window at nighttime and there's just gonna be a face staring in. Like I don't like that idea. I've seen videos where people do pranks of people. I would shit all over my fucking self if I looked at the window and just seen something just peeking in. Like no, that's not funny to me. That's terrifying. Like that stuff. That's my nightmares. I don't need to know that somebody's fucking fuck that. Like okay, so I'll give another example of stuff that like that why it's fucking scary to me. If you ever read the little short story, I guess they're like not 2-sentence horror stories, but they're the little short horror stories that you can find on Google and stuff like that are just little clips of like scary stories and shit. There's this one story, and I think it's called the pictures or the portraits or the windows or something weird. It's a short story. Basically what happens is some person is stuck out in the nighttime and they're kind of like looking for a place to take refuge or whatever you call it, and they find this old cabin or house or something, and they go inside of it. It's vacant, no one's inside. So the only thing that's inside are these portraits on the walls. All over the wall, all around the wall, there's just like portraits on each wall. And in the portraits there's these people, and their faces they're not, I don't think they were scary faces, but the person in the house said that they were like, it looks like they were kind of watching them and just looking at them with disdain, or with like they were angry or something. Like that's how the expressions on the portraits' faces look. So the person tried to ignore it. They go to sleep, and they wake up the next morning, and it turns out like there's all this light shining into the cabin. Turns out that the portraits weren't portraits, but they were windows. I'll let you think about that for a second if you haven't gotten that. Anyway, moving on before I give myself any more goosebump pimples. I think another thing that always weirded me out is words. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, is like certain words, like when you read scary stories, certain words that they use to emphasize on the terror or the spooky aspect or anything, like just to enhance the scary shit. Like ghastly. or again, it all goes back to like faces and weird shit for me. Like, I remember in one of the stories and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there's a story where something with fishermen are in this haunted ass house, and they're taking refuge like from a storm in this empty house, and all this noise and stuff ensues and all this other shit, and it says they look out the window at the storm and the lightning flashed and a ghastly face stared in at the fisherman. Like, I can't deal with that shit. That's why I talk about the faces. Like, that freaks me out too. It's ghastly. Like, why? That word. Ghastly. Or when someone, like, smiling. Oof. Like when someone says a grimace. Ugh. A grimace? A fucking grimace? Why is that? Why? Can't you just say they smiled creepily? Why has it got to be a fucking grimace? Even when someone says somebody's smiling in a strange way, I don't like that shit. It freaks me the fuck out. Like, I can't deal with that shit. Same thing. It's another story in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The Man Upstairs. You all know that one if you read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You know that story. I just remember at the end, whenever they say the man upstairs comes out of the room, they heard a door unlock in the upstairs, and a strange man they never seen came running down the stairs toward them, and he had a strange smile on his face, or he had a whatever smile. Ooh, like why? That freaks me out. I something about that too. So maybe I'll check out that movie Smile, because that seems like that would freak me the fuck out. But things like that. It's like, words and images and stuff that you can. But the thing is, like I said, it all comes to you can make up the shit in your own head is the scariest shit sometimes. Like you can watch horror movies all day with all this gore and monsters and all this shit that that gets put into making a scary movie and stuff. It might spook you if you're that kind of person, but when it all comes back around, I think that your brain can make up the scariest shit to you. Only you can scare the fuck out of yourself as bad as possible. I feel like that's just how that is. Like, horror movies are horror movies. Real life scary shit is scary, of course. Like, fucking just anything, like I'm not gonna say nothing horrible on here, but just bad things that can happen in life. That's the bad stuff. But what they call horror movies, what they say safe, like it's a safe, scary or something like that there's no real danger. You're just getting a thrill of kind of getting, so, why'd that scare me? You're kind of getting that little thrill. But yeah, but it's all because of your own brain. Like, what, you know what I mean? Because one person could think Michael Myers is the most terrifying thing ever, and then another person could think Michael Myers is like, that dopey motherfucker. I'll just run up the street and keep my eye on his ass. Make sure he doesn't fucking duck into a bush and jump out at me at another one, you know what I mean? But, but I love horror movies and I love scary stories and all that shit. I kind of live for that little feeling, not that little charge of like feeling creeped out. Even though I'm talking about this stuff right now that I said it freaks me out, I still like reading about it. I still like watching videos about it. I still like, all I like it. Even if it scares me to my very fucking soul. But, I think that's all I have for right now. You now know all of my fucking fears. No, not really. You actually don't. These are safe fears, but those are the things that get under my skin when I watch horror movies or read scary stories or listen to them or anything like that. That's the kind of stuff that like gives me the shivers. Faces, smiles, words that, just really everyone's got different stuff out there, I guess, but this is the stuff that weirds me out. So, I think that's it for now. I was doing a little free flow talking. Let me know what anyone who's listening, let me know what you think about this. I might keep doing this kind of thing too. I don't know. Until a light bulb goes off in my over top of my fucking head, I have no clue what I'm doing with this. Everyone's reading scary stories now. Everyone's got a scary story channel and everything. It's like, what else can I do? I'm trying to make this as like original as possible, and if that means me coming on here and rambling for a little bit about spooky stuff that I find scary, or y'all, I don't know. I mean, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think might be interesting to talk upon, or if you want to know my opinion on weird shit, if anyone wants that. Leave comments and let me know if you're following this page. Please go ahead, leave comments. Try not to be a fucking dick. But you can leave comments and let me know what stuff freaks you out. What makes your skin crawl is what I'm trying to gain here. You know what I mean? I'm telling you what makes my skin crawl. So there's that. Do with it what you will. But let me know in the comments what you are creeped out by. What gives you the willies? What makes you goose pimply? I think that's it for now. I'm out of here. Peace out.